Coach, a game like this, how hard is it to wrap your head around a game like this with all this yardage that, you guys probably came 6 inches away from, from winning the football game when you had to go kick a field goal instead of getting that touchdown there?
Yeah, you look at that and you say, well, that could have been the change in the game, but then they went down in 3rd and 1, they score, and so you're kicking yourself a little bit, not only as a coach but also as a team offensively of how we got stopped there. And so you're saying, well, we could have went for it. We probably really made the right call there, and we did it as a group there between Noel and Chief and I just talking. And so then we go back up for so it's insignificant. That washed itself out because we came back and went up. And at that point, you got to get a stop. I mean, you just got to get a stop. In the last 2 drives, we didn't get a stop. If you're going to play that kind of shootout, then you got to either get a stop late in that game, the last 2 drives, which we didn't, or you just got to keep scoring. And we just came up a little bit short.
What did you say to the team at halftime?
I said before the game that if it was close at halftime, within 1 score, we'll win the game, okay? Because we knew we were getting Tucker back, and that was going to help our secondary and our depth. And we knew that the way we practiced in the second half of practices, we were finishing strong. And so that was our mentality, was to keep it close in the first half and win going away in the second half. That was our thought process. So they were already ready for that. And I also told them 6 penalties and 2 turnovers and a punt return for a touchdown is not the kind of football that we're capable of playing. And so we take some of those things away and just play a little bit better, a little more disciplined, and we got a chance to win this thing big. And so they came out and responded well, and I was excited about that.
How tough was Christian? 13 catches for 189 and 3 scores. The scary moment in there, they're calling out the cart.
Yeah.
He pops up and then could have easily made a business decision, but didn't do it.
It's pretty much exactly who he is that moment, He was hurt. He was hurt bad. And you could hear him underneath his helmet moaning. But that's kind of why you get in this profession as a coach, for kids like him, players like him. And for him to be as unselfish as he has throughout the entire back half of this season in preparation for the bowl, it's just who he is. It's who his parents raised. They've done an unbelievable job, and it's just awesome and fitting to see him bounce back and make the plays that he did to help us get that thing in position to win it.
At this point in the year, are you surprised with the resiliency that the team shows throughout the year?
No, not at all. This team's been that way the whole time. They played and came back just like they've come back every game. They've learned, they've grown from the first game, UCLA game, to now. The look in their eye was, they expected to win the game. Even when we were down 10 at halftime, there was no one in there thinking, man, we're down 10 at halftime. You just didn't see that body language. It's pretty easy as a coach to walk in there, whether it's an interim coach or any coach, and see that team with all their eyes on you, fired up and ready to go, and then to see them take the field like they did. The resiliency of this team is who this team is and who it'll be. That's how we finished. We didn't finish winning, but we finished fighting, scratching, clawing, and showing great character to finish the season out the best way we could.
How do you reflect on your experience now that you're through the bowl game, looking back at being an interim head coach and leading the team?
Certainly I learned a lot of things, but, at the end of the day, we wanted to win the game. And, it's not okay that we lost the game. So there's no moral victories anymore in college football as evidence of being 7-5 and losing our head coach. So, everything's about winning, and that's what we signed up for. But my experience, I'll take tons of things. I still won't know what I'm taking from this until tomorrow, the next day, the next week, the week after, how I view being a guy that runs the show and is a head coach, how I view being an assistant coach to the head coach, that, whether I stay here or go somewhere else or coach at another level, continually seeing how the head coach and what his day-to-day job is, from, pregame meal to the end of this game, to talking to that team right there, which is one of the hardest things I had to do. So I've learned a ton. I can't put a price tag on the experience I got from this.
What did you just tell the team?
I just told them what I just said right now. There's no moral victories. We wanted to win the game. We came up short. But our staff and each other should feel very proud with how we fought and scratched to win the game.
Jeff, what happened in the second half as far as the running game? Y'all couldn't pick up 2 or 3 yards in the first half, and then the second half you started running so well.
They were moving the front around a little bit and slanting a bunch early, and it seemed to me like, and I have to go back and look at it, but it seemed to me like in the early downs, like on first down specifically, they were moving the front pretty good and they were getting penetration, and we weren't able to get the back started. A lot of our runs were based to get outside, and we'd give up some penetration. Their outside linebackers did a pretty good job of containing the edge runs. And then the second half, what happened is we started getting them on their heels. I think our front started wearing them down on both sides. I think our D-line showed more push, and our O-line showed more push. They also kind of went two high safeties, quarters coverage, and basically said, hey, let our box kind of make the plays. Our O-line adjusted. Coach Turner did a great job of adjusting at halftime. We came out, and our backs ran the ball well.
Was Wolford as good as you thought he would be today?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what he's shown all year. I mean, there was really nothing different. I think the running back played an outstanding game as well. We knew their O-line was veteran, and, just talking to other teams that have played them, their O-line is kind of the unsung hero of that group, and you could kind of see that as they finished those last 2 drives. But Wolford was who Wolford was, and I thought our DBs did a nice job in the second half competing for balls, breaking things up, and getting off the field, especially the third quarter.
Nick goes.
If you scored 52 points, that you'd end up being in here going first.
The way that first quarter went, which I'd like to see the time on that. That might have been a record how long that first quarter went with all the timeouts and how long it was. It just seemed like that's how it was going to go. And after that first quarter, it was like when we said on the headsets, hey, this is about to be an old Western Athletic Conference shootout. So let's just keep staying positive with the kids and not getting down on them, because they were starting to get down at times. Certain individuals were putting their head down and worried when we got down like 3 scores. And it was like, guys, there's 9 minutes left in the second quarter. Like, we're going to get this thing back. We'll get it to a 1-score game. We'll win the game, just like we said.
Why do you think the defense has given up so many yards the last couple weeks of the year?
I don't know. There's, we've had obviously some injuries. You'd love to have had Armani Watts and Donovan Wilson and seen how that game went. So, but I think they made the stops they needed to make during this football game until those last 2 series. But they played as hard as they could possibly play. We played with 3 safeties and 3 defensive ends. It's not exactly how you draw it up depth-wise. I couldn't really be prouder of them. Forced 2 turnovers, which put the ball in plus territory both times for our offense. They played well enough to win, even though we gave those points up. We gave a punt return up, and we gave some other stuff up. We threw an interception on that side. So there were some other things too. Certainly, we never want to give up that many, but they played well enough to win in spots, there's no doubt.
What was the conversations with Armani pregame about his status, and do you think if he was able to play, this would be a little bit different game today?
Yeah, definitely would have been a different game, but at the same time, when you get to the start of the game and he's not playing, you kind of lose track of that and forget about that and move on with the group that you got. We prepared with the group that played. We knew that Armani, being the football player and the person that he was going to want to play. But at the same time, we also wanted him to feel good about playing health-wise. Certainly don't want to put him in any position or the team in any position to hurt themselves while they're out there. So, at the end of the day, he came off of warm-ups and said, I feel great. If you need me, use me. But I am still a little bit worried, and that was the end of the conversation.
What was his injury?
Huh?
What was his injury?
He has rib injury.
499, 4 touchdowns. What did Nick Starkel show today about?
What did he do?
Nick Starkel went for 499 and 4 touchdowns. What did he show today about the quarterback he's going to be?
Yeah, I mean, look at the throw to Jamon Osmond there to go up at the end. I mean, the second to last series. I mean, that's a big-time play. 3rd down. Throws it right in there. Jamon makes a great catch. I mean, that's going to be a battery, between pitcher and catcher for a long time. So the future's bright. Nick Starkel's a great quarterback. He's just going to only get better. And, you'd like to see the season how it would have went. But, you really can't go back and do those things. It's just college football. It's how it is. You get injured, you get injuries, things happen. What I'm proud of most is Kellen Mond the whole season stayed in it, stayed locked in, made some big-time plays for us in the middle of the season. Both those guys showed a lot of maturity and always had each other's back the entire season. And so that speaks volumes of both guys, besides just Nick's individual performance today. But I think it's obvious how good he's going to be.
Last one.
How disappointing is it, I know, for guys like Kirk, who might be their last game, to never win a bowl game, to drop 3 straight? I mean, how disappointing is it that y'all weren't able to get that done eventually?
I don't think we look at it like that. We just look at we lost to 3 points by Wake Forest, and we're all sick to our stomachs we didn't win.